Hey guys, welcome back to the Duke of Alex. This is a little bit of a different format for the show, but what show? I'm just a guy talking about things. I'm going to talk today about a movie I watched called Deep House. I do not remember a lot of the details of that movie, so what I'm going to do is very quickly Google the individuals in question, and then we're going to get into it because this is a Blumhouse special. This is a cool concept. This was a great movie. How did it go wrong? Now, spoilers ahead for this a very strange, very unique movie situation, but if you want to watch it yourself, I would highly suggest that you do. It is a very intriguing film, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this movie. Now, first, let's start with some fun facts that I can glean directly off Wikipedia. It is a 2021 English language French supernatural horror film. I didn't know this was a French. It does take place in France. Okay, so real quick, let's just go through some fun facts about it. Like, I need to know. So we have our two characters, Ben and Tina. The movie begins with Tina in a tub timing herself. And I have been told, now, for the record, I'm blind, so I can see nothing. But apparently there is some nudity directly right off the cuff, as any good horror film would have. And Tina realizes she can hold her breath for 3 minutes. Remember that very strangely important situation. They are in France because Ben has a YouTube channel where Ben specializes in basically exploring abandoned homes and places, but I guess the specialization is diving. No, because they're in the very beginning they're in an abandoned asylum of some sort, like a hospital. They can, however, dive. So he hears about this lake that's kind of difficult to reach, and they go on to the lake. And when they get there, they realize that it's a kind of a tourist spot. It's a destination point. And so, therefore, it's not difficult to reach at all. There's tons of people lounging around, having a great time. And Tina talks to Ben about maybe just for one day we can be tourists. I'm remembering most of this right off the dome, so I'm really interested in you hearing my opinion of the Deep House and how I recollect it, although I do have a synopsis of the plot right in front of me. This is going to be one of those rambling 40 to 50 minute things. Put this on in the background. Go do the dishes. Really, Shep, go do the dishes. Your wife will appreciate it if you go do the dishes. NATO, you got to do the dishes too. Those are the two people that I can trust will watch this video. So they agree that they're just going to be tourists for the day. Ben's all bummed out. But then Ben meets a guy. What's this guy's name? I don't even know this guy's name. I'm going to call him Louis because that sounds like the most French name I could come up with right off the top of my head. But let me see if I can actually find his real name. Oh, his real name is Pierre. Okay, Louis Pierre. Come on, man. I couldn't have guessed the second. Actually, I just didn't want to be insultful and guess Pierre, but it's Pierre. So they meet Pierre, and Pierre says that he can take them to a place that not a lot of people know about. So they go to this place, and he claims to them that there is a full home submerged under the sea, under the lake, of course, not the sea, but they submerge, they go down. It's kind of neat. It's kind of interesting. I wasn't able to get a great view of these different things, but the way this is shot is amazing. I mean, I wanted a documentary about this film because of the fact that it takes place in a submerged house and they are diving it in real time as the movie progresses. So they are swimming through a home, which is so cool. I constantly have a dream that I am on some sort of space colony and the dome has broken and I am a salvage person and I'm floating through the home, grabbing the sides of the door frames to push myself forward. And in this dream, everything is like 2000s just dripping color anime. Super saturated. It's awesome. My head's a great place to live, so I'm very happy with it. But they go underwater and they're seeing fish and they see this home and there's no fish around the home, which is interesting. Then they see that there's a no trespassing sign on the home. Well, pshaw to you. We're underwater. I can just swim over your fence, which they do. And then they see that the home is all boarded up and locked up. But they do find an entrance, I think at the very tippity-wickety top of the house. That's tippity-wickety. And they get in, and they're in the attic. And that is where I'm going to leave you. If you want to go watch The Deep House, I encourage you to. There's worse movies you can waste your time watching. To name one, the undead zombie film from Australia. To name a second one, Lamageddon. You could waste your time watching that one. To name a third movie you could waste your time watching, the original Godfather. Now, I'm only saying that to piss NATO off and make sure he's still listening. Okay, we're getting right back into this film because NATO is angry right now. But, okay, so they have made it into the home. They are swimming through this house, and all of the things in this home are still in their original place. Now, this is where I would kick in with this is a looter shooter as far as I'm concerned. I just don't have a gun. The name of this game is how much crap can I carry to the surface, because I'd be taking pretty much everything. And I would have started in that room, and Pierre, I mean, they have a van up there. I forgot to mention that. They're driving a van. So Ben and Tina, they're in this house. They're flowing along, and they're getting deeper into the home because they've entered on the top floor. And this is like a mansion of a home. And they're swimming down through the rooms and the hallways and the staircases and whatnot. And creepy stuff is occurring as they continue going. And let's see what the synopsis says happens about here. They find the house. There are strange noises and voices. Now, that's going to happen over time during any horror movie. And there's instances where you can almost see individuals out of the corner of your eye. You know, people or silhouettes, if you will, in the background. This is a horror movie. You're on board with this. It is a haunted house that has been submerged in a lake. Yes, please, and thank you. I'm on board. You had me. They should have just called this Submerged Haunted House, and I would have watched it. Instead, they called it The Deep House, which is a bit ambiguous. But as they continue, I'm not going to read that plot synopsis to you. I'm getting back to here. I know Ben. I know Tina. That's all I need to know. It's just me and you now. NATO. I'm sure everyone else left. No, Shep's still here. He's doing dishes, which is great. Shep, your wife's going to appreciate that. So, as they continue down into this home, they come across a little room that's full of missing children posters. Now, you know what that means. These children have been abducted, which means they've been murdered here because this home is still standing. Why is it still standing? Because the home was built on a foundation of hatred. But then they make it to the, I believe, kitchen. And behind the wardrobe is a secret door. They pull the... Why is there a wardrobe in the kitchen? Maybe it's a shelf of some kind. I don't know, man. I'm blind. Something's on the wall, blocking the doorway. They pull this off, and there's the door. So then they're going down into the basement, through the hidden door, which is weird. In the basement is my favorite discovery thus far. And just so we're clear, we're only about 30-40 minutes into this movie. The discovery they make in the basement are the people chained up. Not rotting, just chained, with their arms floating out in air, and weird masks upon their face. Hate masks are what I call them. But later we're going to find out they're called punishment masks. Now, if this movie intrigues you, I highly suggest you stop here. I'll give you a second one while I name 3 other films you could waste your time watching. One of them, Encanto. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. My children watched it like 20 times. Ooh. Also, Encanto doesn't have a villain. The villain of Encanto, which doesn't exist, is technically the mother, but also every other person in Encanto. The villain of Encanto is the magical family who lives on the hill and has made everyone else in the little village dependent upon them for their every need. Imagine you tell them no. You tell the Encanto people no. What's the strong woman going to do to your wagon and all your oxen? You tell them no. She's going to come to your house. She's going to knock it down. And then you are going to have to move because Encanto is this far from being, Ford Coppola's Godfather of the Disney realm. A second movie you could waste your time watching is Frozen 2, because the original one was awesome. And the third movie you can waste your time watching, Pet Sematary, the original one by Stephen King, or even the remake. Neither of them are, I don't believe they're very good films. So these dead people are hanging there. And finally, Tina talks Ben into some sense. Hey, let's leave. Now, she's been wanting to leave this whole time, and Ben's like, oh, just a little bit more. Oh, just a little bit more. Because this is going to be amazing for his YouTube career. Kind of like this video is the death of mine. But he just doesn't want to leave. And so they continue going. They continue looking. And they find bodies chained up, not rotting, but supposedly underground for quite a while. Underwater, not underground. Well, they are technically also underground, underwater. It's a turducken of a submersion situation. Submersion's a word. I made it up. It's a new word. We're going to roll with it. So then Tina and Ben decide it's time to go. There's also a demonic symbol in the basement. Because why not? You're throwing everything at the wall here in the haunted house genre. You just also put it under a lake. So they go all the way back to where they came into the home first, I think. And upon the way, there's more sightings, more strange occurrences. But now, there's a brick wall where they came in at, which shouldn't be there. Because there wasn't even a brick wall outside to, fall down on it. Now, that's one of the little gripes I have. Maybe Pierre threw up. This is why you don't piss off the strong person in Encanto. Because then, when you're diving into their lake, they're going to get their son, who's named Pierre, the strong woman in Encanto is, of course, one of the individuals trained up in the basement. We'll figure that out later, because she is, of course, the mother of Pierre, and Pierre is their son. Big shock. Threw a brick wall into the lake that landed directly upon the top of the open window that they went into, and so therefore there's now a brick wall there. Or somebody bricked it up while they were down there, and that mortar has not had time to dry. You can also, really take out a brick wall by chipping away at the mortar. Guys, I'm telling you, there's 1,001 different situations why this isn't going to work well, but they chose to go that path, and that's perfectly fine. Because now they're trapped in the underwater haunted house, which is what I wanted the whole time. We knew they were going to get trapped in the haunted house, but they're underwater. So they have this extra level of oxygen. So then they see a fish. Wonderful. The fish is swimming around, which means it got in somehow, so it can get out some other how. So they decide to follow the fish, and of course the fish leads them to the basement. Why not? Now, when they're in the basement, Tina has a weird freak out. I don't know if it's supernatural in nature. I don't know if it's because of the terror of the situation. But the freak out occurs, and Tina is for a moment transported to other places. Also, she gets a meat hook through the meat of her calf, which is gross. And in this other kind of situation place, apparently... Yeah, at this point in the film, I think I was paying less and less attention. My apologies. However, I do remember how it ended. So, Tina has a freak out in the basement. Multiple things occur, and for some reason, Ben decides to take the masks of hate off of the people hanging there. Now, when this occurs, the man blinks, and that's just let's just make one thing perfectly clear, I guess, here, Shep. If you're ever diving in a submerged haunted house in the middle of the French countryside with no one but a strange guy you just met named Pierre waiting for you up top, and you are trapped in a home full of bodies and they're hanging there all chained up, and you think to yourself that it's probably time to take the masks off the dead bodies, stop there and really think about that action, and think about it in the context of this is a catalyst event that's going to lead to the next horrifying thing. So just don't take the mask off, because if you don't take the mask off, what's it going to do? It's waiting for you to take the mask off, right? Well, it's just got to keep waiting. And that's how you get them. That's how you get those haunted sons of bitches. You got to outthink them, because hey, they've been sitting in water for 20 years waiting for somebody to come down there, somebody stupid enough to come down there and get trapped in their basement of terror. Don't take their mask off. So they take the mask off, and then you see that some of the chains are undone, and now the people are loose in the house, and it's very scary, and it's spooky, and they're trying to get out, and they're looking for different ways out, and somehow, some way, they find out that this family was a family of Satanists, and these Satanists were kidnapping children, and they were sacrificing the children in the basement. Well, the individuals from the surrounding valley got together and decided on the eve, I guess, of the flooding of this valley, that they were going to murder, after torturing the individuals that have been kidnapping their children, and they're going to chain them up in the basement and put masks of hate on their face, metal masks of some sort. This is explained in a flashback that I vaguely remember. I don't know how they were resurrected. Maybe power of Christ or Satan. Maybe it was the removal of the hate masks. Maybe it's all the built up anguish in the home. I mean, we're clearly seeing at certain times and places the spirits of the children. But one thing becomes clear to them. They got the father, they got the mother, they maybe got other people. I don't know how many people were chained up in the basement. I'm blind. Shep, watch the movie yourself and count the bodies and report back to me. But what I do know is Pierre is their son. And Pierre has sent them down here on a literal suicide mission, but they're more than just that. They are a sacrifice. Well, Ben has succumbed to the evil spirit of the home. And I've left out a very important fact. They can communicate with each other this entire time over a headset. This is not a silent movie. They're talking, and they're playing music, and the music's weird. And because it gets weird, and it goes weird whenever they're in the house, near the house, sort of thing. You know, it's a spooky movie. It's spooky. They make it spooky scary. You know what I mean? With the music. But then, Ben succumbs, and Ben starts telling Tina that she's going to love it there, she's going to love it in the house is going to be their new home, and they belong to the house. Well, her oxygen is getting dangerously low. And at one point, Ben's oxygen became detached. I think it's when she tried to swim up the chimney to escape. There's multiple escape attempts in this movie. Again, if you want the real experience, watch the damn movie. I don't know what to tell. I am giving you my recollection of a movie I watched 2 weeks ago, but it was interesting enough that I still think about it every now and again. So then Ben succumbs to the home. And how it got into him, I can only assume, is whenever he had his oxygen tank knocked off earlier in the film, then he reconnected it. Maybe something got in oxygen, the vile house water. I don't know. So, I mean, maybe she should be possessed because she got a meat hook through the leg at some point. Also, how did that happen? Does the house move? I'd be down if the house was a living, breathing evil entity and was constricting. I don't know, man. We're gonna talk later about that. I got theories, but she makes it out. Let's just jump ahead to there. Ben's gonna die in the house. Forget Ben. Tina makes it out, but Tina has no oxygen. Remember that 3 minutes? Tina's got 3 minutes to make it to the surface, right? Well, this is our final girl. She's gonna make it to the surface, and then she's gonna come back in the sequel. No, she doesn't make it. She doesn't come back in the sequel. She dies. The movie ends with her floating corpse in the water. I guess the happy ending was the fact that she didn't get eaten by the house. I would almost appreciate a chain reaching up and snagging her and dragging her back down, because at least that feels like she was never meant to escape. You know what I mean? Instead, it feels like she almost made it, but if she could have only held her breath for a little longer. And it's such a Blumhouse thing to do. I mean, I call these Blumhouse specials because these are the movies that you would find on the back wall of Movie Gallery or Blockbuster or Regal Home Video. I don't know. I only know two rental services. There's either Movie Gallery or Blockbuster where I'm from, guys. You try to think of a third one. That was another movie gallery. Just Watch is the name of a website. I don't. There's only the two of them. Or Redbox. This is a Redbox. And it's something they would put on the very front because they paid, $40,000 to have this film there. They put it all on DVD. They're pushing it that way, and it's going to make all of its money in the home rental market. And it's not a bad thing, but there will be no sequel. There will be no Deep House 2. And if there is, the only person who survived is Pierre. And what is this going to be, like Hostel 2? Like, she's going to get all the way down to the Deep House, and then she's going to convince the Deep House. Spoilers for Hostel 2, a horrible movie. That should be the tagline for Hostel 2. That actually, she's a millionaire, and she deserves to be there, and she'll happily buy into the Deep House, but she has to, commit the same crimes as the Deep House, so she just goes ahead and does that to one of the other people who couldn't really commit fully to the Deep House. That was a deep Hostel 2 cut. So, the long and the short of it is she dies trying to make it out of the Deep House. Let's talk theories. Why did she die? I think that might have been an alternative ending. Most films, most movies are written with sad, depressing endings. Sad, depressing endings, rarely, if ever, do they actually function as a satisfactory end to anything. That's why people who write classic novels like Moby Dick are hated in their current time, because people currently don't want to read a sad, depressing book like Moby Dick. They thought the guy who wrote it was a dick. He wrote a very thick book that was rather pointless. That was all the reviews that came out when Moby Dick was first published. Today, people are like, Moby Dick, what a classic. But back then, it was not a classic. That guy died very poor. And that's, kind of the gist of things is, I say, make art for the people who are going to consume it. Because there is so much art currently being created constantly that the consumption and enjoyment is what you really want. Deep House has to be franchise-worthy. And to be franchise-worthy, someone has to survive. And then you have to do a shitty sequel that makes you more money than the original. Then you can do a third one. So you got to do Deep House, Return to Deep House 3, The Deepening, Deep House 4, Tanks Deep. You can just continue going on about this. Hey, there's even a Deep House spin-off somewhere in there about, I'm trying to think of a politically correct way to put a bunch of Playboy bunnies in scuba suits and send them into the Deep House. Deep House 6, Pajama Party. It's just, it could keep going. But the problem is they kill her, and she dies. And it's very sad. It's very sad, because she should have survived. She should have survived, confronted Pierre, or he should have stolen, the van or whatever after seeing her submerge, and it's just, or emerge. And then they could have done like a, there was that one movie where they go down into the cave systems. It was spooky. I forget it though. So this has been my rambling review of the Deep House. I thoroughly, the concept is enlightening. Phenomenal concept. For the most part, great execution. But they didn't stick the landing, and that's the important part. I mean, literally had it ended with her popping her head above water and gasping and then falling back down quickly, that would have been great. That would have been great. Did something grab her? I don't know. Hey, Deep House people, you want to reshoot that ending? Do that. Leave it open. And then you can do a Deep House 2. Because I guarantee it does not take that much extra stuff. I want her to convince a group of French scientists and paranormal investigators to investigate the haunted house at the bottom of the lake. Please and thank you. I want more of that kind of stuff. I want the Deep House remade in America about an old colonial home at the bottom of a rock quarry, and, just goes off the rails with a haunted ghost crane. But I will not keep you in suspense any longer. What is my final takeaway on this film? If you've watched this video, you don't need to watch the film. But even then, I'd suggest you do, because I think it is rather cool that they went underwater. It is well shot. The audio is golden. I mean, it's a Blumhouse special, but like most Blumhouse specials, he's bringing you quality. He's bringing you quality schlock. And you know what? Enjoy your schlock, man. Just enjoy it. It's served to you. It's piping hot. It's got pepperoni on it. It's good stuff. And NATO, what else? I mean, literally, what else are you gonna do tonight? So, alrighty. Well, that's the Duke of Alex. I'm gonna head out, guys. I might do more movie reviews in the future. I just had to do it about Deep House because this movie's baffling, and the ending. It got. I mean, as you can tell, it's been 2 weeks. I'm still thinking about this film. I just love the concept of them being underwater, and I want a haunted house in space. I think that would be cool too. I'm down for that. Okay. Bye, y'all. See y'all next time. Oh, real quick. I mean, after credits, video's done. Let's jump back over to Wikipedia. See how good I did on the ending. Let's see right here where it says, under Sarah's influence, Ben tries to convince Tina to join the family. Okay, so apparently he got inherited by Sarah or something. Panicked and with her air supply depleted, Tina flees into a... What does she flee into? Secret satanic chapel. Where did that come from? This is why blind guys shouldn't watch movies. Where she finds a shaft leading out. Ben catches up with her and tries to kill her, but she wounds him with a... What did she wound him with? Diving knife. This is the first time the diving knife comes out, shocking him out of the possession before they can escape together. Oh no. Sarah stabs Ben to death. Okay. Okay, apparently the name of the family is the Montegnacs, and the E has a little flourish above it. Montegnacs. Montegnacs? I don't know. Then turn on Tina, but she escapes up the shaft, which leads back into the lake, but just below the water's surface. The remaining air in her lungs gives out, and she drowns. After the credits, there is a brief scene in which two new divers look out over the lake, accompanied by Pierre. Oh, because he's bringing more... But come on, man, leave her alive. I want her to come back. She's not really dead. Give me that in the second one. She jumps to life. Tina's played by Camille Rowe, and Pierre's played by somebody who's forgettable. So let's go down to the budget. Production took around 27th of January to 13th of March. That sounds like a long production. But was it shot underwater this whole time? That's what I want to know. I don't even know. Oh, it was done at a studio, so I guess not. The film was released in France, and it was released by Apollo Films. Reception, I don't care about that. I want to know what its budget was. Oh, it's all over here on this side. I haven't done this before. This is a whole new concept for me. So let's see what the budget of this movie was. And Directed by, I have no interest in that. Written by, more than one person. This is not good. It's written by 4 people. That's why she dies at the end. This is not an individual's, clear vision. You can tell, and it's okay. We're coming down. It's 85 minutes long, so NATO, it's not going to throw your night off. Made $1.9 million at the box office, but I don't see a budget anywhere in here, and I need to know what the budget is if it only made $1.9 million, because I assume this, he is known for producing films well under budget, so $1.9 million may have made back everything he put in, which was phenomenal. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Go watch The Deep House. It's intriguing. It's also strange. Like everything I'm going to talk about and work on this channel, it just is what it is. I talk a lot with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands right now. Okay. Bye, y'all. I'll see y'all next time.